During lockdown, like everybody else, time on your hands, one of the things I did was I made a couple of box cameras, basically pinhole cameras. A couple of them, I made them to look like Victorian old cameras, Bella's cameras. Just recently, I was asked, could I convert one of those back into an ornament, i.e. putting a light on the top of it. I was really annoyed at this. But then again, I put my thinking cap on and then came up with the idea, if I used a light that was used to go over the top and illuminate a picture, I could simulate that and make it so it looked like a magnesium flash that would have been used on a standard camera, period 1900s. So this is how I went about it. Right, just heat it up and hope that I don't discolour the brass effect on this. I mean, because that's really why I want it. So it looks like it blends in with the rest of the camera. Let's see how it goes. It's quite thick, so we'll see what happens. Solder seems to be going on, but to no effect. Yeah, as I thought, I'm not actually going to get it up to temperature. Let's have another think. Having given up on the soldering, I decided to put it in a vise in the end, and I've tightened that up, and she's sticking, so I'm quite pleased with that. I really didn't think it was going to work, but as luck would have it, it's worked. What I need to do now is to wire it up and then put it onto the 15mm pipe, and that should be it. Right, down to the wiring. I mean, where you live, different parts of the world, you've got to follow their rules. Basically, this is a 40-watt lamp. How do I know? Because it says so on here. Anything above that, then I'll risk actually melting the wire, and if I melt the wire, you could get electrical shock. If you don't feel qualified to do this, then get somebody else to do the wiring. Don't do as I do. Right, I've stripped it down. All I need to do now is to get these wires into here and then into the lamp, and that should be okay. Put a plug on the back and we'll take it from there. Fingers crossed it's going to work. Alright, I've put the bayonet head back on. What I have got is I've got some heat resistant cover for the wire that's there. Although it's only a small bit, I do not want this to short out, so I'm taking all precautions necessary. I just need to flicker back in here, press the side bits down, screw it in, mount it. Job's a good one. So we'll see where we go from there. As this is a table lamp and there's no earth, I'm going to put a 3-amp fuse in here. I just feel a little bit safer if it's a 3-amp fuse. I just checked that's current. Yeah, so I know that's working. 3-amp fuse. Just feel safe. A 13-amp fuse is far too big for this. I mean, I've decided the best way to put this on the side, so I'm using these little brackets. Cheap enough, nice shiny brass. Basically they're for fixing copper pipe against the wall, against the skirting. But on the side here, they look quite nice. I've lifted it away a little bit by putting a nut just before I screwed it into the side, so that's given me a little bit away from the body. I'm going to put an elbow on the bottom as a return, because my wire is going to come through here from the light down the bottom. I don't want it to chafe on the edge of the copper, so by just soldering that on there, make sure that's on my return at the back, slightly off. Get a nice gentle bit of heat. I've cleaned it up with some wire wool. I've put some flux on there, no need to really, because these are Yorkies. They'll actually contain the solder in that shoulder there. But here we go. I should see it run out actually. Is it running? There it goes. Difficulty because I'm trying to get it to go all the way around the heat. There she goes. I think that's it. Nicely done. You'll do you to smoke. Now the tricky bit is getting this wire and persuading it to come around this bend. You can see what I mean. It's just there in the neck. I've got to keep the tension up, walk it forward. I think it might go. There she goes. Right, so put that through, and then we're ready to assemble. Right, so here we have it, the finished article. You see we've got the light fixed at the back. I've replaced the film holder at the back with something as a, I suppose, keepsake. I've written a little note in the back. And so let's have a look at what we've done. Basically the camera is still a camera, it's still a working camera, but it looks a little bit better rather than putting a bulb on the top. Fantastic. Or why not go the whole hog and put it where the lens should be? Total rubbish. Okay, let's see if it works as a table lamp now. So, as they say, lights out. And action. Yes, I think it's there. Thank you very much. What you can do with an old camera and a bit of imagination. Looking for something that would make sense turning into a light. So what I thought of is, why not use an old flash that fits on top of a camera, put a bulb in there, put it on it, it would make sense as a table lamp. So hunting around, I found this old camera and looking for a way of putting a light in there to make it look like a table lamp. Right, I was playing with a torch the other day. I wasn't actually playing, I broke it. And what I'm left with is a rechargeable battery that's still got some power in it, and I've got the LED. So what I need to do now is find some way of putting the center in there and the LED in the back. Doesn't have to switch on and off, but if it does, all to the better. The tricky part of this is working out what needs to come out and what needs to stay. If I leave the thyristor in here, which basically bumps up the electricity so that the flash goes off, that'll act as a little cushion for my AA battery that I'm going to put in here. So I need to solder, put this spring back unit here, need to solder that, and then solder on the other side, which is the negative, and then rig up some sort of switch on the back. I've often find that trying to put small screws back down, especially if you've got a washer as well, it's just going to keep dropping off your screwdriver. Yes, you can magnetize it, but the other way is to use a small dab of glue, and just sufficient so that it holds the screw in place where you can drop it in the hole. Works every time. Right, I've just put the let's put the soldering iron on. I need to now put a little bit of solder onto this element here, which is going to be my positive, and then my negative on the side there. I've now put the electrics together. I put a switch in through the body, and there we go. A little light. At least it looks like it should belong there. Being rechargeable, it should last for quite some time. Well, it's great to be back. I missed you. And if you're a first timer, please subscribe. There's quite a few films you've missed. Have a look at the catalogue. See you soon. Give us a tick if you liked it. I like to think somebody's out there listening to me.